Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching me from. I'm so excited to be here sharing my story. My name is Catherine Irene. I'm a mother of four children, one of whom a cerebral palsy child. She was diagnosed of cerebral palsy while still very small. When I mean very small, I mean just from birth. I first heard it from the mouth of the medical doctor. So why are we here? I'm here to talk about how my daughter's journey was able to help me to reset my mindset. Yes, it is my story and it has helped me to reset my mindset. What this my story will do for you is to help you reclaim yourself, to help you shift from overwhelming parents or overwhelmed parents to a place where you begin to parent with ease, a place where you begin to parent with clarity. It will also help you to decrease the way you are anxious. You know, as parents of special needs children or as parents of cerebral palsy children, we tend to be looking for, will I say, immediate miracle, immediate action. We want to see our children achieve that milestone. Yes, it is fine. But my story today will help you. I believe you will pick one or two things that will actually help you to move from being overwhelmed to a place where you begin to parent at peace. Yes. So I will title this my story Reset Mindset. Now let's talk about my story. How did I get here? How did I become special needs parent, and how was I able to navigate through this journey, and why am I doing what I'm doing now? Helping other parents of children with cerebral palsy to parent with clarity and to thrive above their child's diagnosis and embrace their unique journey. This is my story. As a mother that was anticipating to carry her child, to carry her children, because my daughter Desire is a twin. She has a twin brother. So just imagine I was just full with joy, happy that today or at this particular day, I'm going to be holding my twins' children. Just like every one of us. Nobody plans to have a special needs child. I've not seen anybody that is praying for his or her baby that is still in the womb and is telling God, Father, I pray for this child inside my womb to be a special needs child, to be that child that will come into this world, and I begin to parent with fear, and I begin to anticipate progress. I don't think any of us did that. That also was my case. I didn't pray to have a child with cerebral palsy, but faith brought my daughter Desire to me. Like every other parent, I did everything humanly possible. I went for antenatal clinics. I listened to the lectures. In short, I did ultrasound 5 good times, ultrasound scan 5 good times. You know, I don't want to hear story because the first one I did already told me you're expecting a set of twins. So you know that's kind of when this child come. I don't know if they are going to be girls or if they are going to be boys or different sex. So I was just anticipating. I was just preparing. Sometimes I just be. I would just close my eyes and I begin to imagine how it will be. Yes, Africa, where I come from. You know, when you have twin babies, there's this kind of everybody's like happy. Oh, how did you twins? I like twins and all that. So I was just there anticipating to behold my children. Yes, all of a sudden there was a shift. I could remember vividly why I was in the labor ward or the labor room. Yes, after the first twin came out, it was a struggle for my daughter Desire to come out. And I could hear my husband at the background praying and asking God, Father, if you can allow this baby to cry. Because apparently she's already out, let me put it that way, because it took about 2 more hours after the first twin before she eventually came out. And my husband was praying out there, Father, if you can make this child to cry, she will use her voice to serve you. I heard it clearly and it's registered in my mind. What is happening? You know, everybody knows that when the first thing that happens to a child when you give birth is for the child to cry. But my daughter's case was different. And when I heard my husband said that, I began to pray, Father, just do what you can do. Let your will be done concerning this child. Father, just help me. I don't want to go home with just one child. Help me. And eventually, she sneezed. She cried. I would say she cried to the best knowledge of what I could say or towards the midwives told me. And they cleaned me up and they gave me my baby. We went back to the ward and the cry became very loud and persistent. She cried from that night till the next day. She couldn't suck. When I go out to meet the midwife, they'll tell me maybe, she didn't cry at bed and now she's crying. Yes, just allow her cry that time. I was naive and I was happy that, oh God, yes, she didn't actually cry at birth at first, but now that she's crying, I need to be happy. And the next day, they discharged us to go back home. Thank God for my parents that came. It was my mom that saw her and said, it's like this second twin. I don't like the way she's looking. I don't like the way she's just kind of weak. And I can tell you for free, she was the biggest. She weighed about 3 kg, while her brother weighed 2.5 kg. So we got home. Babies were there. I wasn't lactating. They were trying to use other traditional means to make sure that the children had something to feed on, but all to no avail because I was bent on doing to put them to let them go on baby friendly. So the next day, which was going to almost 48 hours, was the day we were supposed to take them for BCG, the immunization, because they didn't have it before we left the hospital. And while we were bathing her, she wasn't responding. The brother cried very well. You know, the signs they make or they normally cry when you try to bathe them, maybe try to massage them and all that. The brother was doing fine. But my daughter, she wasn't even making any sound. While they were bathing her, I was in the room, very close to where the bath was being taken. I couldn't hear her cry. She was just there. Let me go and look at my daughter. She has already turned blue. I shouted. And immediately, myself and my husband, we took my baby and ran back to the hospital. Getting to the hospital. If I can't remember anything, I could remember. The doctor said she needs to be referred to a teaching hospital. Mind you, I gave birth to her in a general hospital in Nigeria. So what am I saying? At that particular moment, they referred us to a teaching hospital. So many things happened on the way, but at the end of the day, we were admitted. My daughter was fed through the nose. They placed a tube in her nose down to her stomach, and with 2 ml syringe, I will express breast milk, and they will give to her to see if she's able to tolerate it. Sometimes the thing will come back unable to tolerate. She's not, food is not being digested and all that. That was how she was there. That very day, the next day, let me go and see my baby. I saw that her head has expanded so big. I began to wonder what happened. She was just lying there on one side. She couldn't turn her head. They told me, they said maybe because she has been on one position and all that. I couldn't do much. All I could do was just to pray, Father, just help. They did all what they could do. At the end of the day, they said baby is fit to go home after several weeks in the hospital. And it was at that moment they told me that my daughter will not be able to do well like the brother, that she has brain damage, that she's not going to sit, she's not going to walk, she's not. So many things that they told me. As they were telling me, I was saying, Father, I heard it clearly that my husband said, if you can make this child to cry, then she will use her voice to praise you. If you can make this child to cry, she will use her voice to praise you. You see, when we started journey, it was at that moment I knew that there is more to this child. Yes, I began to search. I began to read books. Did I meet obstacles on the way? Yes, I met obstacles, but I did not give up. Because of that word I heard from the lips of my husband, I heard it so dear to myself that if you can make her cry, she will use her voice to save you. And at the end of the day, she cried. That means there's a reason why God brought her to this life. And from there, I have mindset reset. I began to see my daughter differently. I began to picture her life as a perfect life. I began to see the work I'm having with her as a perfect work. I didn't see my child as someone that will not be able to do anything. I changed that subconsciousness about what other people say concerning children that has additional needs. Yes, that's my child's desire. I began to work towards achieving milestones that the doctor said can never achieve, and I back it up with faith. That is why every time I say faith plus work is equal to miracle. I did not just sit down and begin to hope for miracle. I did not just sit down and begin to wish that my daughter is like every other child, but I begin to take care of her as the child that I have. That is my story. My mindset was what helped me. When I changed my mindset, I refused to be in that position where I want people to pity me. I begin to see myself to do things that other parents out there can do. And I began to work towards it. I wasn't selfish. When anyone wants to extend hand of kindness, I let them do. I never blamed anybody for my daughter's predicament. Yes, it was negligence in the sight of the medical professionals, but the deed has been done. Can money actually help or replace the life of my daughter? We didn't have much as at that time. We were mocked, even inside the bus. Sometimes I would use my hand to cover her mouth because the way she wheezed is just too much. The noise is so loud that sometimes I begin to look my left and my right if anyone is watching me or if anyone is hearing me. There was at times, there were these times that I wore the garment of shame. There were times I have to cry and say, God, why me? And I believe it was my mortal body. But when I remembered that particular voice that said, if you can make her cry, she will use her voice to serve you. I begin to see her again differently, that one day her case will be different. That is why I'm here today. And I began to walk towards that goal. I didn't wait for anybody. Yet, I was waiting on God, but I was doing the work. I was no longer in that place where I would say, God, why me? Rather, I would say, I have done my best. God, do the rest. While I'm doing the work. So my story today is to encourage you. My daughter was unable to walk till she almost clocked 8 years. She was drooling, no neck control. She couldn't smile. She couldn't even tell me why if I'm leaving her at home, I'm going somewhere. She's just there looking at me. My heart was always heavy. But that word always make me to remember that there's no savior anywhere except you putting in the work, reading books, articles that you're supposed to read. Anywhere I see anything they're talking about special needs, I want to read, I want to enroll, I want to go for that class, I want to go for that seminar. And when I come home, when I try to practicalize it with my daughter, I try to remove that fear. Because why? There is a voice that I keep hearing. If you can make her to cry, she will use her voice to serve you. And she cried. Everybody were giving hope on her. So you know that kind of mindset that you just need on your own to just develop it. That was what helped me. And it keeps me going every facet of my life. I did not become a dropout because I had a special needs child. I believe many people hear my story right now, maybe my classmates, people around me, some of them might not even know because they saw my child when I brought her to school. My children, when I brought them to school. Yes, it was hard. There were times I was broken. There were times I have to wet my pillow. But you see, that voice. I don't know the voice that you've heard. Or have you taken time to actually listen? Have you taken time to actually, what did I hear concerning my child? It can be that thing that could help you to have that change of mind that you are craving for. It might be that thing that will help you to reset your mindset. How does this mindset work? It prepares you to face challenges. It makes you to become resilient. It makes you to face your fear. It makes you to keep pushing. It makes you to keep believing. And it helps you to keep thriving. No matter what, you are not giving up. It makes you to leave that place of overwhelming to be in a place where you parent at peace. For as many of you hearing my voice, as many of you that will listen, that is listening to this, coming from where you are or the journey that you are navigating through right now, just know that there is a very big difference between having a mindset shift or resetting your mindset from those negative conversations that are inside of you to becoming using positive words. Yes. My story or my child diagnosis did not define me. And I believe that my child diagnosis is not her identity. She's unique and she's fearfully and wonderfully made. I know how many times I have to anchor on the word of God and I begin to use it. Father, you were the one that made my daughter to cry. There are so many things that we've said concerning our children that when we go back and we listen to ourselves, we'll have every reason to keep pushing. We'll have every reason to keep pushing. Yes, just like you. When my twins were born and when I heard my daughter's diagnosis, I was devastated. Yes, I was devastated. So devastated. I felt like I had failed. I was scared. I felt I couldn't even hold on. But over time, I began to learn that my child does not need even a perfect me. Yes, she doesn't need a perfect parent. That your child does not need a perfect parent. She only needs somebody that is present, somebody full of love and somebody reassuring. Yes, I started taking 3 minutes of my time. During the day, I will write out things down that I want to see in my child. I'll write it down. Yes, I'll write it down. And I begin to see myself affirming positive things concerning my daughter. 5 minutes of prayer. Even up to now, I still teach my children that when you wake up in the morning, first of all, you have to pray to God. Because it was what I heard, the prayer I heard my husband said that brought my daughter back to life. Yes. I will write, just like I said, I will write some things down. Little by little, I stop feeling like I'm a waste. I stop feeling like I'm a victim of the situation. Yes, I started healing. I started feeling like I am an active person, an active guide to my child. I started feeling like I'm a book that my child is reading. I started seeing that modeling is one thing that will help my child. everything else, we began to achieve it. We began to achieve it. And that modeled me to the person that I am today. I just want to encourage you with my story. You too can reset your mind. You too can take a step today. Think of that one thing that you heard that is keeping you. Think of that positive thing concerning your child that is helping you. Think of that positive thing that you want to see in your child. You can begin to write it down. Start small, start where you are, and you see yourself resetting your mind. It's all about you practicing this. It's not something you tell yourself, I want to do today, tomorrow you are not there. You need to be consistent. It might be slow, but it works. Thank you very much. I'll continue again and I'll keep coming your way to give you some of my stories, what has really helped me, and why I'm on this journey with you. Thank you very much. Just like I said at the beginning, I am Catherine Irene, a mindset parent coach for parents of special needs children.